context, it's COVID. So I check in to my uni account and it feels like I'm the only one. Someone coughs and you just turn and you're like, and then those are the people who'd like wear their masks here. Right. Or they'd wear them badly.
Hi, everybody. This is an entertaining, informative podcast that we share real-life experiences of Kenyans who dare to step beyond their villages and engage the wider world. From culture shocks to career breakthroughs, we explore the highs, the lows, the lessons, the faith that carried them through navigating life beyond our borders. So I'm your host, Mutune Mwinde Odede, and I have my guest, and she's going to introduce herself. And she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does.
Hi, my name is Joy Ngeci. I'm currently in Agribusiness. I studied civil engineering and I am currently back in Kenya.
Okay, so Joy, you started your civil engineering journey. Okay, and you studied out. Do you want to tell us what country you studied in?
So I studied in the UK at the University of Sheffield.
I guess the whole idea was that like a lifelong dream? Did you feel there was purpose in it? Right. Kind of walk me through that.
So for context, as every African child, there are limited career options if you grow up in a traditional African family. So it's doctor, lawyer, engineer, that sort of thing. So I wanted to be a doctor for the longest time. And unfortunately, one day I saw a lady who wasn't feeling too well. I was walking on the road and she rolled down the side of her window and kind of did that thing. And I was like, I felt compassion because like, oh my gosh, like he was so sick. But then it dawned on me that, oh my gosh, if I was a doctor, that could happen in the doctor's office. And I'm not ready for that. So I had like a bit of an existential crisis at age 12 because this is when that happened. Right? And so I start like asking around to my older cousins, like, what do you think I should do? What do you think I'm good at? Because my mom's always been quite chill, surprisingly. Right. Like as long as you find something that you love, you do that and I'll support you. Yeah, so I asked my cousin and he was like, you're good at math and science. You should consider structural engineering. But this is definitely...
You were good in math and science. Yes. You understand that's not anomaly.
Right. Yeah, no, so... That was my strong suit, and I thought, okay, engineer sounds cool, so let's figure out what structural engineer is. And at the moment, he told me that structural engineers are basically the people who build the skeleton of the building. And I was like, right, so the architect gets to do the artsy, drawy stuff, and then I make sure it stands up. So from then, I think I settled into this whole idea of engineering at age 14. So from there onwards, it was always like working up towards civil engineering, because now to do structural engineering, you have to do civil first. Right. Yeah, so you can do civil and specialize in structural. That was the trajectory I was on. And then heading to the UK happened now towards the latter years of my high school education. So I was in an IGCSE school, and the uni options often felt like abroad or nothing. Right. Because that's also what's marketed. And it's not to say that, we didn't have people who went to local universities. Right. But even during career fairs, like you'd have 90% international universities and then 10% local. Right. So this is, especially as you're becoming a person in your formative years, it sort of feels like, okay, this is the route to go. Right. And seeing as I'd settled in engineering, my mom was like, okay, for you to actually finish. Unfortunately, sometimes when it comes to uni education,
local universities, the strikes and everything.
The strikes and everything. My mom was like, I just want you to finish uni. So if engineering is what you've decided to do, then you can head out and get it done there. And at the time, I was a bit excited that Strathmore wasn't offering engineering yet. I think right now they're offering, but I think it's electronic or something of the sort, if I'm not wrong. So I was like, okay, yes, get to go. So that's how I ended up going to the UK.
Had you been to the UK before?
I'd never been to.
Was that like your first flight out into an international country?
Not necessarily. I'd been on holiday with my family, but alone to an international country, yes. It was my first time.
Do you remember landing, what it felt like?
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was a lot. I can see the rain, I can feel the wind. So I actually went during COVID. So that was an even more interesting experience. Yeah, so I went in October 2020 because now the school wrote to us and told us, we're doing like a blended situation. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna be brave and go. Now for context, why I went alone is my mom's visa wasn't out yet. Yeah, I think, and then it came out like 3 days after I got to the UK and she was like, I guess there's necessarily no reason to come. Right. Seeing as you've already done the hardest part of the journey. So I remember landing in Manchester, because that's the main airport that's close to Sheffield. Sheffield is like, it's a small town. It's very student-oriented. It's very friendly. If you were to give it a local application, it's like the Egerton to Eldoret. Okay. That's how it feels. So Manchester is the Egerton. But Manchester is Eldoret, and Egerton is Sheffield, for context. Yeah, so oftentimes if you're heading to that side of the UK, you'll land at Manchester and then find your way to Sheffield, which for me was driving. It was about an hour's drive. Right, so I landed. I had locks, had artificial locks at the time. It was colder than I expected. So my jacket, I had like a jean jacket. I was trying to look cool, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
The UK is not kind of a place to look cool.
In October.
In October. That's
right?
autumn, right?
Yes, and that's the thing. But I mean, you look at the weather and you see numbers, but it doesn't really register in your mind what it means for it to be 15 degrees or 12 degrees. And there's the temperature, and then there's what it feels like. Right. And that's the real deal, what it feels like. Right? So I get there and it's raining. Classic Manchester. Always raining. It's raining and I'm trying to figure out my way around the airport. I'm reading signs. I'm trying not to look lost, trying to have it all together, because I mean, now we are adults. We must do this. I am the only person I have here. So as I'm heading out, this officer stopped me and he's like, "Did you pack your bag yourself?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then I start getting emotional. I start crying. He's like, "Do you mind coming with me?" In my mind, I'm fighting the whole thing for, oh my gosh, he thinks I'm guilty because I'm crying. Right. But I'm just like, if my mom was here, you wouldn't be doing this to me.
Right, and you're overwhelmed in a new country, right. You're a student. Yes.
But then at the same time, I just fit the stereotypical mule because, again, I'm underdressed. Unfortunately, I'm underdressed.
And you have the locks on.
I have locks on. I'm looking confused because it's my first time at this airport.
Right.
I have two very large suitcases. Right. They're wrapped. It's just like,
yeah, suspect.
Right? So
narco queen there, right?
Right? But then I tip to everyone, guys, always wrap your bag. It saved me so much because I was very confident in getting my bag searched because it looked the same way it looked from Nairobi. I wasn't like conscious that, someone could have slipped something inside. Yeah, that's the thing. And as much as it doesn't look as cute, just wrap your bags. For peace of mind, please wrap your bags.
I don't wrap my bags.
Please do.
I pray over them. I'm like, God.
Come on.
I'm just like, anointing oil. Like, I'm like, God.
Absolutely.
Everything, me and whatever is within me, we're going to get safely to the other side.
That's the thing.
Right.
So he takes me to this room and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is the stuff you see on Nat Geo. And I'm like, is there a camera? Like, is there someone recording me? Am I going to end up on an episode with like boogers running down my nose? Right. But anyways, get there and it's quite intense. They don't even touch your bag so that, if there was to be a case, you can't be like, oh, he might have put something on top. Right. So for context, you're trying to lift about like 30 kilos by yourself onto the platform. So I'm already tired. I'm already feeling emotionally exhausted. So I put it on the x-ray thing. It comes out and he's like, okay, you're free to go. And I remember as I was leaving the room, I just stood like in the hallway outside and I just stood there for a moment and I just wept. I was like, okay,
this is my new life.
Thanks, UK. This is a really welcome.
So for me, because we share experiences in the talk, the first time I landed in the UK, I was on transit going to the US.
Okay.
And I remember, my siblings worked at Kenya Airways, right? And so because of that, I don't know whether they do it now, but the purser gave me a first class seat.
Oh, come on.
I know.
That's
and I was
nice.
like, if I ever have the money for first class tickets, I am going to fly first class. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You're not in the same plane ride with everybody else.
For sure.
So I had a really good time. I was like, I can enjoy this. Anywho, so I chilled at first class. Yeah. Of course, now when it comes time to embarking, because my connection flight was from the UK, I think, to the US.
Oh, come on. Still first class?
Yes.
Oh,
no. Things changed. But you see, I got to get off the plane, right? And so I come out as first class.
Right.
And I'm a young student. Yes. And so the security look at me and they're like, how is she affording first class? Right. So they searched my bags.
Oh,
so they profiled me, yes.
Oh, I see. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes. So
that
they were just so like, there's no way this girl is affording this thing.
That's very suspicious.
I know. And so from this whole first class experience where I'm like, oh my God, I'm just rolling in my own cubicle, watching my own movies. I was like, sleeping, like on a bed.
Like sleeping well.
Yes, sleeping
well.
No neck pillow, nothing.
Yeah.
Then now to come out and just get this cop who pulls me on the side and begins searching my bag. I was just like, oh, I hate this. Yeah, so that was I was on transit.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad it didn't happen to me only. I feel like you
Yes,
really comforted me.
No, they actually did. But I didn't go into a room. It was because I was on transit also.
Oh, right.
So it was just the hand luggage I had because
everything was being transferred.
Yes.
Yes.
The other time when I landed there was during the Olympics. It's just for some weird reason, I can't remember much about it. But I know the weather was good. Yeah, because it was a hot summer. That's what I remember. Yeah. The other time that I went, I couldn't figure out the train thingy. And so here I was with this huge bag. I got on the wrong train.
Oh, no.
And then having to cross to the other side to catch the right train. Right. Dragging this heavy bag. I am jet lagged. I was so exhausted.
Yes.
I got to the hotel and I just, just blacked out.
Yeah.
Yes, I was like,
proper.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those I think those are my UK experiences so far. Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I had a good flight. I didn't mind the flight. I feel like, wow, like a lot happened. There was a lot of culture shock. Oh, another thing, at immigration, I felt like he was yelling. As Kenyans, we're very soft-spoken people. Yeah, so this guy, I mean, there's a glass and it's COVID and everything, but I'm like, I'm here, I'm not over there. Why are you yelling? Yeah. But the long and short of it is, it was strange, but it was okay. I mean, you only get one experience. So.
And so getting to school, do you remember like some of your culture shock experiences?
I think for me, when it comes to uni, okay, my view of Kenyan unis is often like private uni. So I expected a Strathmore situation, sort of gates or like a common area where the buildings are. But for the uni of Sheffield, it's around the city. So it's like one uni block and then restaurants and people's houses. I was like, where does uni end?
Right.
Let's explain that. And then walking into a lecture theatre, and I think we were 200 of us. It was massive. There was projectors. There was really good tech, especially because in engineering there's a lot of drawing, right? So my professor was able to like sketch on a thing and it's showing up on the screens, and I was like, this is really nice.
Why were you expecting to get some chalk dust on your face?
Yeah, I mean, and surprisingly now, there's also still the traditional, because the thing about the UK, they love tradition. They will keep their culture. You hear stuff like, oh yeah, this is from the 1500s. Or the uni was opened in 18. You know what I mean?
Right.
But actually, please don't quote me. It's not 18 something, but in terms of like time and like. Right. But yeah, so I was expecting a lot of archaic things, but it was good to see how they're blending old times with modern tech.
Right. Say like how history is informing the present. I think also I was fascinated with that. But also the other thing that was fascinating for me is I came to discover how all the nursery rhymes that I have sung as a kid, I've sung them wrong. There was this bubble gum, number 28. I went for a stop, but now I stop under brake. Mm-hmm. But it's public van.
Bubble gum.
Yeah, and we were, busy, singing it, and it's public van. It's a public van that it's moving and it's taking stops and breaks.
Right.
That's what the song is about.
Yes.
It has taken me 100 plus years to figure out
that it's not bubble gum, but
it's not bubble gum
van.
and under brake, So it's just funny. Yeah. And also, I think just for me, seeing the UK was a clear understanding of how much our culture in Kenya has been impacted by the British culture. The teas.
Oh, true.
Yes,
True.
just a lot.
True.
And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, so you kind of see where the source is of half the things you see.
Things we do, yes.
Right.
Even how we dress, the whole concept of suits and
all those wigs that lawyers wear. And I'm still trying to understand why in this modern world
in
they
this
would
2025 why are we doing that anyway?
Great. I will bring a lawyer who has studied in the UK. They can explain to me why they wear these horrible wigs.
That would be great.
Yes.
We need to find you a lawyer.
Right. So another thing, so did you have tough, challenging moments? How was that?
Right. So, I mean, for context, it's COVID. So I check in to my uni account and it feels like I'm the only one because everyone's in their rooms, there's no socializing. But at the same time, it didn't feel too tough because I'm also realizing everyone's going through the same experience as me. It's not niche. So it's not feeling like, oh my gosh, is it because I'm black?
I know. But I mean, COVID was even tough for us. I just remember I was newly married.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
but just the fear of what was going to happen to the world, was everything slowing down,
Yes.
and
Are we
trying
ever
to,
gonna recover?
yes, are we ever going to recover?
What's the new normal after this gonna look like?
Right. I remember there's even a point where you could barely see planes in the sky, and I just thought, is the world ending?
But let me tell you.
So now I'm thinking double that, and you're in a foreign country alone.
Yes.
Wasn't that like magnified?
But the best time actually to travel was COVID because the planes were empty. It was beautiful. I mean, other than, you have your face mask, you have your face shield, full PPE.
What?
Yes.
And did the air hostels also have the full PPE?
Yeah. I looked at them. I was just like, you must be boiling.
I know.
Gloves, they're changing at every moment. It was intense. They're wiping down everything. And then, that time it was illegal to cough.
Right.
Yeah, someone coughing in the plane. You're looking around like, who is this? Who's trying to kill us? I want to know. Why would you be so irresponsible and do that to us? You've decided you're going to end us.
I know, I remember it was illegal to cough in public. That is so true.
Someone coughs and you just turn and you're like, and then those are the people who'd like wear their masks here.
Right.
Or they'd wear them badly and you're like, shame on you. Why are we doing this?
I never thought that it was illegal to cough. It was true. If you coughed, you'd be like, you are the source of this thing.
Why would you?
I know.
You should have stayed home. But anyway, so I get there, and now also that impacted how I was welcomed, right? Because you're not having staff coming to welcome you per se. It's hands off everything, sanitizing at every moment. You're pulling out your own pen to sign documents because, we don't want cross-contamination. You're meeting someone, this is as much of them as you're meeting, for the first time.
Right.
But for context, I first went to a hotel because I was like, I just need a break. I can't have flown in.
Oh, that's bougie. I went to a hotel before I landed in school.
No, yeah, actually, because I was like, I just need a break. It's my first time. There's a pandemic.
Okay. That was good, I think.
Yeah, I was like, I just need a few days to feel the city as well.
Right. Before you get to your door.
Watch outside the window and be like, okay, this is the city. Oh, there's people walking there. Okay, this is my city. And just to have a feel of it. Because again, at the same time, I went to an accom where I'd be cooking for myself.
Okay.
So can you imagine landing, having to figure out where to buy
groceries
food,
and everything.
how to use stuff like electric hobs, because again, that's not commonplace in a typical African household.
That's true.
There's no gas, right? There wasn't gas in my uni.
But there was smoke detector.
Yeah, no.
Did they drive you crazy?
We're
gonna get there.
We are getting there. So anyway, I think I was in the hotel for a week. Then now I went to my uni com. So I get there. I think I went through the basement. So I'm already lost because I didn't go ground floor because I had suitcases and stuff. I don't know. They were trying something. So I remember walking in and just thinking, anyway, so I take my stuff upstairs. And a few minutes later, I hear this noise. I'm like, okay, why is there like a red dot?
Right. Bleeping.
Yes, and then it's so loud.
It is freaking loud.
So I was like, I'm not going to burn alive. So I grabbed my passport and I ran out, grabbed my passport and my key card for the room, and I ran out as fast as I could. So I was like, And then I get to the corridor and I'm like, wait, it's only in my room.
Right.
That's ringing and there's no fire. And I stand in the hallway and I'm like, why isn't anyone here?
Right.
Or maybe they're in their room. Maybe there's no one on this floor. Anyway, so I ran to the lift because, again, there's potential of being burnt alive.
Right.
I mean, this can't be my story. No.
You overthought this
This
thing.
is not how it's ending. So I ran to the lift and I press it. Then I remember, don't use elevators in times of fire. So I jet to like the staircase. And I'm like, wait a minute. I can't be the only one living in this block. Like, why isn't there anyone running? I was like, okay, you know what? Just go back to your room. So as I'm heading back to my room is when my neighbor comes out and they're very chill. They're just like, is there a fire? Okay. They close it down. I'm like, okay, so this is normal. Then I come to learn that the UK is obsessed with fire drills.
Yes. Because of the fire histories that they've had. Right.
So it became a thing of, okay. Like, I think we had, between the time I stayed there, easily like 3 to 6 fire drills. And people would come out so slowly because now you've gotten used to them. And so I don't know if it's working for them because there's people in their PJs just dragging themselves across the courtyard. And you're hearing their stuff being like, okay, quickly. And they're just like, but there's no fire.
Right.
There's no real fire. So anyway. Yeah, that was experience the first time. Which was just it was very I had a very tumultuous landing into the UK, but it evened out. Things became nice.
And you kind of adapted to
For
being
sure,
by yourself.
for sure.
You made a few friends.
Absolutely. I think I didn't necessarily even experience homesickness because with the time zones, it was very easy to call home.
Okay, yes.
Right? At best, like with winter, you have a 3-hour time difference in that the UK is 3 hours behind.
Right.
To Kenya. So I'd just be like, okay, if I need to call my mom at 7, so that means at 4. Situation over summer, it reduces. And I was privileged enough to come home for the holidays. So
Okay.
for Christmas, if it starts snowing, I'd be like, yeah, that's my cue.
That's your cue to leave.
I'm out.
So you never quite experienced the winter.
Now, in January I did, because you come back in Jan for exams. So January, February, March, it's still
it's
snowing.
very much
and in
winter.
fact, I think January is the most miserable month in the UK. Because there's nothing to celebrate. Christmas makes the snow bearable.
Right, that's
but
true. Because they have the decorations.
That's the thing.
It's magical.
It's like you're in a movie.
Yes.
But Jan is just gloomy. New year, new me.
And you can barely make the
You
new
can
me.
barely.
So was that one of your most challenging months? Do you remember a challenging moment
I think actually October for me.
Okay.
Because we live on the equator. We are used to sunshine.
Right.
So again, it's COVID, right? So I'm in my room. There's no sunshine. And a few weeks go by and I'm like, why do my bones hurt? Why am I so sad? And I was like, is this seasonal depression? So that's when I knew, getting vitamin D supplements.
That's true.
It's not a suggestion.
It is a necessity.
It is a requirement.
Right.
So, but I remember that one, that was a tough month for me because I was like, is it that I'm not eating well? Like, how do my bones hurt? What's going on?
Right.
Am I doing this whole living alone thing well? Am I settling into the UK well? Is this country just not for me? Because it's just been downhill so far. Right? But then I took the vitamin D supplements and I was like, oh, okay, never mind. I'm good. I think another hard time was maybe when you're going through challenges academically.
Yes.
Now, for context, it's a bit privileged. As you said, being good at math and science is not a common thing.
Right.
But I think in uni is where I experienced my first glimpses of struggle. Like, how am I? I've given 11 hours a day to this assignment for a week because we were given a week to do it, but it's not working out. How can this be my grades?
Right.
And wondering where to get support. What does support look like in uni? Is there a tuition? the Kenyan
a tutor.
way, right? And also not having someone around there who knows you in terms of your history, who can encourage you and just be like, okay, yeah, Joy, you're just having a bad season.
Right. It's a temporary thing, not a permanent thing.
But no one has known you enough to be able to give you that reassurance that you need in that moment. So yeah, that October and a few exam seasons is where I was like, wow, this thing is interesting.
So before I forget the question, so this how did faith carry you through? And then I also want to know how you carry your Jamhuri there. When we mean that, it's like, how homesick you get. So I would have like tea bags, coffee bags, you know what I'm saying? I would carry Masai curios, blankets, just things that would kind of remind me of home. Yeah, so I want to know first how you carried your Jamhuri there.
I've never been a chai person.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like all Kenyans left the chat. But no.
Absolutely. Me included. We are just about to exit the WhatsApp right now.
No, but I've never been a chai person. But what happened is, towards the end of uni, I had a friend who was a chai person. We'd actually been in the same high school. And so she'd just come around to coming to the UK. So I'd visit her.
Right.
And she made me a cup of tea. And I was like, girl.
I'm going to be a tea person.
How have I gone through uni and not experienced this? So I'd literally go to her house to have tea. Not that I couldn't buy tea, but it felt like Kenyan tea because it's been made by a Kenyan.
Right.
She has ketepa. You know what I mean?
She has some masala. It has to be chai perfume.
Perfume all the way.
Right.
Right? So I'd go to her place to feel like I'm going home. And then we'd cook together. So we'd make stuff like pilau.
Nice.
Actually, I used to cook a lot of pilau in uni.
Right.
I was like, this is how I can't just eat rice. No.
I don't like rice. So white rice,
yeah.
It's just like, what is this?
What is this?
Yes.
It can do better.
It can do better.
Yes.
It's just white.
Yes.
It has nothing inviting me to eat it. So if it's not pilau, Chinese rice.
Yes.
I'm like, leave the rice alone. Yeah.
I hear you. So I think to start off with, I didn't think I'd really miss home like that. So I didn't even carry like spices or anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was just like, I mean, it's just salt and pepper. Anyone can find salt and pepper anywhere. Not me on Amazon a few weeks later. Pilau masala. You know? And
so you're lucky you were traveling with the Amazon period.
Yes.
So post Amazon, you were like your suitcase had to have supplies. Yes, because you didn't know if you went who's going to visit you. You would also carry loot for the people you're visiting.
I did. I had 8 kgs of honey for one of my mom's friends. And she also wanted like some Java coffee packets. So I think I had a kilo of coffee and 8 kgs of honey.
That's what flagged you. That's what flagged you.
I was like, it's honey. Anyway, because I had even wrapped it like in like a trash bag. So I bet he was like, here's my Christmas bonus. I've got you.
8 kgs of honey.
8 kgs
what
of
does
honey.
she do? Lather herself in the honey
I think
or
it
what?
was just those ones for, I don't know
Good
when you're
stock.
going to go back home.
Yes, I get you.
And this is a one-time opportunity.
That's so
I'm
funny.
going to do what I
8
need to do.
kgs.
8 kgs actually. It was really heavy. Yeah.
That was heavy. That's like almost a whole suitcase.
Yes.
Mini suitcase to yourself.
So now when I'd come home, did I carry any spices? I think the pilau masala surprisingly lasted, but I'll never forget. Buying pilau masala for £8
On Amazon?
on Amazon. I mean, for context, times 150, that's what you carry for? That's 1,200 bob.
That's,
for pilau masala, that packet
yeah, because
like
you weren't wise. You could have asked me and I've told you, carry something.
But see, Jinna, I didn't know you then.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But even the people, I'm like, who travels without Kenyan loot in their bag? Kenyan t-shirt?
What did I have? Oh my
A
gosh.
Kenyan bracelet?
Yeah, of course, I did have the Kenyan bracelet. That's like standard practice. Everywhere you go and then you see something, you see someone in the street, you're like, oh my gosh, you're so excited.
You kind of do the whole eyebrow raise, like I got
mean,
you.
not the whole eyebrow raise. I'll stop you. You're my person. Just be like, hi, Tasa. Habari yako?
I know.
And then the excitement of speaking your language in a foreign country.
Yes.
Chef's kiss.
I know.
Absolute chef's kiss. I'm trying to see what else I carried. Did I have a Masai shuka at any point? Actually, I think just the bracelet.
So the second time we went back after visiting, were you wise enough to carry some Kenyan loot?
For myself, maybe for other people. Because I think there was a really good Jamaican store next to where I lived. So you'd go get plantain.
Okay.
You'd get the deep state spices that you need. And then, in terms of my cooking, I can be very boring. I don't mind eating
You're
rice
a
and chicken.
mashakura guy.
I'm not a mashakura, not dufu. I'm not dufu nation.
I'm
not swimming in my not swimming in my food, taking a shower after.
The cabbage that was cooked for 40 minutes. My pal told me that she ate a cabbage that was cooked for 40 minutes. I was like,
40 minutes?
I was like, was there cabbage remaining?
How? I bet it just like, even the crunch is gone.
There's no cabbage. What is that? Because
then,
I know cabbage, 2-3 minutes is kind of ready for me. So I'm just thinking 40 minutes. Is there cabbage or no?
But then,
it's a semblance of a cabbage that once was.
And then you never know how good Kenyan cabbage is until you buy foreign cabbage.
Oh, that's true.
I remember I bought some UK cabbage and I was like, hey,
it's not the same.
Inini. What is this? You try and spice it, nothing. It's just white. It's just there chilling. I was like, no. And I actually got it from one of the marketplaces. Maybe I should have gone to another one, but I think it just put me off. I was like, I'm never eating cabbage here again. I'm done.
Until you get back home.
Yes.
But is there something you really liked? Like for me, the queen cakes, they're on another level.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there was a donut shop. Just called Eve's Kitchen. Please sponsor me.
Okay, Eve's Kitchen. There's room for branding, okay?
It got to, I'd take a bus because it was on the other side of town.
Right.
I'd even go to their shop and tell them, have you considered opening a branch on my side of town? Like, it was that good. I'd take a bus to go get a donut.
Wow.
It was so they had it was...
Filling in.
Yes, and then you'd bite it and you'd be like, oh, what are these flavors? I remember there was a rhubarb vanilla situation.
Ooh, that must be really nice.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, you're covered in sugar after and you're just like, yeah, that's what I needed. Yeah, so it was really good, especially on Sundays. If you mess up and go there at midday, everything's done. So you're getting up early to go get donuts.
Not to go to church. Sure.
there was church in the evening. Now
Okay,
that's
good.
Get
That
there,
was
we
it.
talk about faith, but
Right.
yes.
Okay.
So I'd actually get up to go get donuts and then come home and do like meal prep for the week and then go to church in the evening.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, because this cooking daily, surely engineering is already hard enough. I open my fridge in the evening and there's a carrot and an energy drink. I'm like, no,
Oh,
no.
we gotta do better for our health.
Right? So I'll meal prep on Sundays and move on.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
They're
so
quite organized.
I'd meal prep lunch and dinner.
Oh,
Yeah, because
nice.
breakfast you can just wake up, have some oats,
Right,
and move on, or even
right.
like buy some pastries, as you say, the cream
Yes.
cakes, that sort of situation.
Good. So I'm just curious.
Yeah.
What were your eye-opening moments in the UK? Something that you're just like, I'm so grateful I came here because I would not be the person that I am if I didn't interact with that
Right.
with that global village.
That things can work. Like it's not a utopian dream to aspire for better.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if your bus says it will be here at 10:23, it will be here at 10:23, not 22, not 24, but at 10:23. And saying that these are people like yourself who've been able to build systems that can make it work. At the same time, the ability to dream. I got to uni and I realized how many subsets there were in the civil department.
Right.
There was structural engineering with architecture. You could do a double major. There was architectural engineering. I'm like, what does that even mean?
Right.
Right? What else was there? There was civil and structural as a master's. There was civil purely as a master's. There were so many things that I was realizing inside that I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much. There's something like acoustic engineering within civil, like people who actually work on acoustics of buildings.
Right.
I was like, what? Like, I didn't know that I didn't know.
That there
That
are
was
so many options
stuff like
to this
that.
one major that you had.
Absolutely. And now
Right.
apply that to everything across. There's a food service. I know it's not indigenous to the UK. I think it's German, but it was called Fresh.
Right.
It's a food company that has weekly menus where you select how much food you'd like, how many people are in your household, between 2 to 4, I think. And then you select the different types of
Vegetables.
No, not vegetables, the recipes you'd like. They'd have like a whole platform.
Nice.
And then they'd send you exact ingredients for the cooking. I was mind blown. They'd send you a box every week. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these are things that if we have the right systems in place, and that now comes from things like good roads,
Right.
good logistics.
Absolutely.
They've built the
Good
foundation.
policies.
Yes, they've built the foundation that now they can improve on. You're getting enough to reduce food wastage, because sometimes you want to try a meal like, I don't know, sausage and mash, but you don't want to go and have to. How much potatoes is enough?
Right.
How many sausages are enough? What should you get? What shouldn't you get? They send you everything with the meal card, with the recipe, and I'm just like, wow, are we living in a hole? You know what I mean?
I know. Efficiency in systems. And
Yes.
I was sharing that with someone else in the podcast. I said the systems are so efficient. And when you come back to Kenya, as
Yes.
much as Kenya gives you room for innovation and invention, the one thing sometimes I feel I struggle with is the missing of the efficiency of the systems.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
When you're kept for 2 hours trying to do something in the systems for the government, where like this is something that could just take 15 minutes or so. You know what I'm
True.
saying?
I could have applied online.
Right.
Let's talk about
for
that.
my passport.
I didn't
Renewal
have
for
to
my
show up.
passport. Yes, yes.
I really didn't have to show
Yes.
up. Yeah.
So for me, I think that feeling always makes you feel like you're not fully at home, and you're never at home there, because when you're there, you're always feeling there's an alien part of you. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
You're viewed as a minority.
For sure.
So how were you ever labeled anything else other than African? Were you seen as something else?
I don't think so, but I think the thing about the UK that's different from a lot of other Western countries
Right.
is their racism is different.
It's subtle.
It's subtle, and that actually, if you ask, in my opinion,
It's worse.
it's worse because you're there doing too much math. It's like, she being racist or...
I
When I
don't
entered
have
the
evidence.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I entered the bus and she clutched her purse, was she just stunning or... When I went to the bank...
Oh, that is so funny.
In fact, that's an experience I had with... I won't name the bank, eh? We're not trying to get you sued. But there's a bank that I had applied for, and the only appointment that was available, I think, was in a bougie part of town. Because I went there and people are riding horses. I was like, okay.
wow.
I was like...
Not my
right?
class. Not my class yet.
Yeah, so I head into the branch. I talk to the lady, and she's like, "Oh yeah, just come back tomorrow with your documents." Rookie mistake. I didn't go with my documents. I was just new. I just arrived. But I get home and my application has been cancelled on the app, and I'm like, did they accidentally do it, or is it because? Or and that's the thing. Because he's like, okay, you're in a bougie part of town. Of course, when I'm in the bank, you see people walk in and they kind of look at you like, okay, you're not really supposed to be here.
Right.
But I'll move on and do my business. But you're like, oh, it shouldn't be such a big deal. And I get home and it's cancelled on the app. I'm like, how? I mean, she told me to come back tomorrow.
So they didn't want you back on that branch.
So, that's the thing. So I'm here doing that math and I'm like, no, like, just give me that aggressive stuff. Tell me, go back to where you came from.
You are
That's more.
Did you ever deal with the idea that people looked at you and they're like, do you, they had this perspective of Africa that
yes. I did, but they were kind. So for context, I had a group project with some of my UK counterparts. And now during our spare time, like they'd ask me very interesting questions. Okay. So like, have you ever been to Lake Naivasha? It helped that they were doing research about where I was from.
Right.
But now when you search Lake Naivasha, some of the videos you'll find is like a hippo chasing a boat, and they play me those videos and I'm like, has this ever happened to you?
Absolutely. I would take full advantage of it.
Right.
In fact, I have one of my friends, this is the 90s.
Yeah.
2000.
Yes.
He acted all like he was a prince and the African friends who were around him were like, they were the servants. Yeah, they played this whole, what's that movie called? Coming to America. They replayed that scene for them.
That's hilarious.
Oh, the restaurant owner was so impressed. He was like, he truly has...
serving royalty.
Yes, Prince Zamunda is here, Yeah, so me, I'm like, if you come and give me that, let's go see how far. I'm just like,
one of my regrets. I should have.
Yeah.
I should have told my colleague I'm actually a princess back
Yes.
at home. Don't
Princess
see me.
Zara.
Don't see me here working hard with this calculus and think, no, I'm a prince. I want to build our nation when I go back home. But yeah, so they'd ask like questions like, okay, this actually happened. This is not a niche event.
Right.
And Naivasha has stories about people being killed by buffaloes overnight and hippos and all this stuff, right? Yes. And so I'm like, yes. And just seeing the shock, their face is like, oh my gosh, you guys live with animals like that. And I'm like, yeah, you should come to Rongai.
Especially with the lion roaming.
Right?
Okay, so now on a much more serious thing.
Yes.
Well, not serious, but I just, because I really believe the whole reason why we're sharing in this podcast is not to, it's to show that when you take a step of faith and move to something, that one, God does make a way, and two, interacting with the global world does something to your dream.
Absolutely.
So I want to know how faith played in that.
At the start, we prayed. Hey. We prayed. Because it's also, God is sovereign. He will send you where you ought to go.
Right.
For context, me, I was going to Canada. I'd applied to Canada. My UK choices were a joke because it was just safety. But in my heart of hearts, I was sure I'm going to Canada. So even my UK choices, I didn't think much of it. So there's like a system. It's called UCAS. And you pick 5 choices after you make some letter. What is it called? Like a personal statement of some sort.
Right.
And I remember I just picked them. I was at a restaurant waiting for my mom to finish a meeting. I was like, that. I was like, Manchester. I had these Kenyans there. I just picked my choices very loosely. But then, it's a few weeks, Canada isn't responding. And I'm like, Lord,
you gotta go.
Let's not joke. Let's not joke around. But I remember, because we'd really prayed. We were like, imagine, God, whatever you have for me, I trust your plans.
Right.
You know much more than I would ever know.
Right.
So one evening while I was still in uni, in high school, someone calls me. I see it's a UK number and I'm like, the scammers. The scammers have reached me. But for some reason, I just think, okay, let me pick up. Because it had Sheffield underneath. It was just not UK, but Sheffield, UK. I was like, okay, let me pick up. And I pick up and it's this Kenyan guy.
Right.
Who'd gone to uni there.
Oh, wow.
And he was calling me to tell me about how there's a new undergraduate scholarship. So in the UK, it's quite hard to get an undergrad scholarship.
Absolutely, yes.
And there was an undergrad scholarship for 50 students. That would be 50%. That would take off 50% of your tuition.
Wow, that is favor.
Right? Because I remember he called me. I was even in the bathroom. Just took my towel. I sat there because I asked him, can I call you back? He was like, the way the phone is set up, only I can call. I was like, okay, talk to me. He spoke for 45 minutes.
Wow.
About the scholarship, about how Sheffield is amazing. He asked me about my other UK choices. I was like, yeah, I have cousins in this place. They're saying this and this. He was like, Sheffield is a place to go. I was like, okay, I hear you. And so I decided to apply for the scholarship.
Oh, wow.
I apply and we pray. And we pray. June, I think it was 8th or 6th, I get an email. And it's like, congratulations. Hey, me and my mom, we danced. We danced. You said, this is the Lord's favor.
Right.
Because, okay, now if there's 50% off of tuition, it means that money can be spent on flights coming back home.
Right.
Stuff like that. I can get a better accommodation because there's less burden. I was like, okay, God, this is really kind.
Yeah, like that is just everything that I prayed for my film school's journey. I was like, yeah, it was very tough, and the schools were very expensive, just wanting to get that undergrad scholarship. And, that's not what happened for me. But I guess God knew that I would really need a lot of producing, guerrilla skills on understanding fundraising for projects.
Right.
Because really, literally, that has been my journey, just understanding how tough it is in the film industry and how if you really want to get your project done, how you have to be very industrious in ways of thinking on how you can combine resources in kind, investments to make something work, and sometimes it just doesn't work. I also really think also seasons are different. I feel like the younger people, the Gen Zs, are really at an opportune time in Africa, where I think a lot of people are recognizing Africa for what it is, like there's an openness towards supporting more African talent and everything. So I feel that is something that should not be lost, that people should not understand there are battles that have been fought by the generations before that have made this path a little bit easier. I'm not saying there are no challenges.
Absolutely.
Yes, but it's a little bit easier.
For sure.
Yeah, because just to hear someone call you and saying there's an undergrad.
There's a scholarship I didn't even know about,
Yeah, I know about scholarships for masters and PhDs.
Same.
But for undergrad, it's not
because I tried applying to some different places, but at best you'd get a bursary.
Right.
But even as you're saying, God withheld because he knew that you'd need to be equipped in that season in that way.
Absolutely.
Now, for context, for me in hindsight, I finished uni and I find some random video on YouTube talking about the cost of living crisis in Canada. If I'd gone, I would have suffered.
Right.
There's literally the uni I wanted to go to. There's students living in vans because you can't afford housing. Like, it's that bad. You can't afford housing, and yet you can afford tuition. So that just gives you a scale of how bad the housing crisis is.
Right.
I remember in that video, there was a listing that was put up, and I think over 100 people applied for one house.
No way.
Yeah, like, it's really bad. So I was like, oh, God, you really knew. Again, for context, I was so set that I'm going to be a civil engineer, and that's what I want to do with my life.
Right.
But by second year, I changed my mind. And initially, I was on a 4 years master's program. So in the UK, you can do like an integrated master's. So 3 years bachelor with your final year being your master's.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So I was actually on that course because I was sure. I mean, I've known about this. I've known this is what I want since I was 14.
Right.
But then I was able to reach out to the school and tell them, actually, just give me a bachelor's because, again, I was trying to master in something different. I wanted to do product design, which is yet another thing that I found out. In fact, let me not say product because product gives a lot of UI, UX research, but I wanted to do industrial design. People who make mics, people who make chairs, why are things shaped the way they're shaped?
Right.
I found out about that in the UK. I didn't know that there was something such as industrial design.
Right.
And if you apply that within even a Kenyan context, our concept of industrial design is jua kali. Because those are the only people who make stuff. A lot of what we get is imported.
Right.
But to know that there's an industry where I could actually employ myself to make things, why our phones shaped the way they're shaped, ergonomics and all these things, I was so excited. But you see, if I'd gone to Canada is a 4-year bachelor's program. So I'd have done a year longer for more money.
Right.
Probably living in a van.
Right.
Very far from home and crazy time zones. So I can't even call home. More expensive flight fees.
Right.
So I can't necessarily come home as often. Probably no scholarship, right? So So
you'd have to supplement with odd jobs and everything.
Yes, that's the thing. And so, like, in hindsight, I look back and I'm like, yeah, God, like, I knew you were wise, but now I've tasted and I have seen.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, like, as I grow older, I start to understand why, people who are a bit, let me not call them old, who are a bit ahead.
Like us, thank you.
No, people who are a bit ahead in their years, like, why people can count on the faithfulness of God.
Oh, no.
Especially, like, when you see your folks and they're so steadfast.
Yes.
You wonder how, but then you start to have such experiences and you learn, oh, yeah, you are who you say you are. God, you are. I can trust you. I can put my faith on you. You will come through because you have been coming through. So you understand that they don't say it as filler words, as, oh, I trust God. God is faithful. It's like, no, I've lived through it.
Right. I have an experience of the faithfulness of God.
Absolutely.
It was so interesting. My kid, I was, dressing them up for school. And they looked up at my chanjo, my immunization thing, and it's quite, it stands out.
It's quite pronounced.
Right, it's quite pronounced. And she's just like, so what is that, mommy? And I tried to say, well, it's, it's an injection I got. She said, was it painful? I said, yeah. And she said, it's still there. I said, yeah. She said, when did you have it? And I said, well, when I was way younger than you, I can't even remember crying or anything. And then she's, it was very interesting in that moment. We both reflected. I was younger than her, and then now I have her. And I just said, wow, isn't God great? Like God could see me as that little infant, knowing one day I'm going to have a mother, and I'm going to be a mother, and I'm going to be, talking to my daughter about something that happened to me as a child that I don't have full recollection other than the mark that I have, Yeah, so I think I understand that with age, you tend to reflect more and see the goodness of God in your life.
Absolutely.
When you see Him walking you through seasons and stages in your life. So even that word faithfulness, I just think it becomes even bigger, It is like, and it's like faith. It's like just filling the whole room like He is surely faithful. Absolutely faithful. I think that's one of the, is it the character of the names of God? Just Him being faithful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and consistent. Yeah.
So you asked how my faith journey played a part. Right. So we prayed before.
Yes.
And God came through.
And so you were kind of diverted from Canada into the
UK. I mean, at the time, of course, you're like, okay, God,
I know, it's not my plan.
Let's see what this Sheffield is about. Unanipeleka ushago. Because for context, in comparison to Manchester and all these other big cities, Sheffield is very polite.
Yes.
It's a student city. Over summer, everyone vanishes. It's like the city quiets down because everyone has gone home. But it's just student. You can but again, it was good for me because you can focus.
Right.
If you want a bit more excitement, you're not distracted by life. Okay, again, something like a city like Manchester can be distracting.
Right.
Nasio ati Mamboya, NASA, not the worldly things, but with Manchester, you have two stadiums. You have City and United, right? So there's football matches. There's so much happening around you that
social
can be
life.
Yes, that it can be a distraction to uni.
Right.
So the beauty of the Sheffield is it's quiet, and then towns like Manchester, Leeds, they're close enough.
Right.
So if you want a bit more vibrance in your life, you catch a train. Trains are affordable, so there was a lot of balance with that. So I was just like, okay, God, you really set me up. This is nice.
Right.
Can't complain.
Right.
Another thing I really prayed about is community before heading to uni. So I was like, imagine, I know I will pick in my limited mind, but you give me friends. You give me the community. You give me a church. Give me a place to go. I went through some trenches before I got there. Because also at the same time, I wasn't mature enough in my faith yet. So I was trying to make a lot of stuff stick. You're thinking, because I prayed, this must be the one. This person must be the one because I prayed, and now you're here and you're not taking time to test the spirit.
Their fruits.
Yes, just their fruit. Also analyze, are you guys aligned, right? Is this a Bible-based church? What's actually going on here?
Yes.
Right? Yes. So I told you another day, but I went somewhere and then the Lord said, okay, now you have grown. Just come with me.
Right.
Right? But I found a really lovely church that I eventually even ended up serving at.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really good. Very Bible-based, very grounded in scripture. I remember, in fact, the night, we had like a night meeting. Again, night meetings are very common in the UK. Same thing like church in the evening.
Right.
Meeting at 6 p.m. for church is not a weird thing.
Right.
Well, and yeah. But I found it very weird, of course, because we're used
to...
The
first times you tried.
Yes, but I remember we had a meeting as the new people who were joining the music team, and we read Revelations 4 and 5, the God who sits on the throne and the Lamb who was slain. And
Amen.
We basically spent the night praying and worshiping. That was our first meeting, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a really good church. Yeah, because I remember the worship leader, music leader, was like, this is who we worship. And so you need to have an understanding of who you're rendering service to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the skill set and all these things, those are things you can work on.
Absolutely.
But this, you need to understand that God is who it's about. So having that meeting, I remember leaving and thinking, oh, this is a really good church. This is a really good place to be. Yeah, I really prayed through a lot of things. So I found community.
Nice.
I found people I could go to church with. In fact, I met a Kenyan who moved into my building. And again, I think we all know each other. So found out that I knew her. She also used to go to my school, but she was doing a different program in my high school. Well, we connected and we'd go to church together. I had a discipler at the time. So we'd do monthly meetings on Zoom.
Nice.
Yeah. So that really, homesickness, all of this stuff, no. And also someone to keep me grounded.
Right.
Asking me the hard questions. Okay, you're a young lady, you live alone. What's going on? You know what I mean?
Right.
Are you choosing the narrow road?
Right.
Are you staying the course? How are you going? And then I think, again, for me, one of the most beautiful things was living alone was such a blessing. Because there's no distractions. So you come home and you spend the evening, talking to the Lord, worshiping, praying.
Wow,
All
you
these
were
things.
like a very level-headed kid. I mean, with all that freedom.
Yes, but
you
again,
know,
it's God's grace who keeps you, because
Absolutely.
it's not to say that the UK isn't a wild place. I'd hear stories when you're in uni, you're sat next to your classmates and you're hearing stories
Right.
about clubs. You're hearing about people who got stabbed in the club this week, stuff like that. And just
Right.
thinking, God, thank you for keeping me. Thank you that I do not have an appetite for those things.
Absolutely.
Because it is not by my own self-will that I've sat there and just thought, yeah, I'm better than no. It's God who's kept me. It is Him who's kept me. So it was my faith really blossomed in the UK. I think that was actually foundational for me for building the faith that I'm currently
So it stopped being your mom's faith and now it was more like Joy's
absolutely,
faith.
because I mean, at best you can ask me, did you go to church? And if I want to lie about it, I could say yes. But I didn't have to go. But I was choosing for myself because I don't know, there was just a realization of how important God was in my life that just dawned on me throughout the journey from praying to go to uni. It was just like a coming of age, both physically, educationally, and spiritually for me.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
That sounds
thanks,
good.
man.
Sounds like a good parting outro.
Yeah.
So we'll put the social media links you can follow. And thank you so much for sharing your story. I have been inspired. When my daughter comes of age and she wants to go, I'm going to be like,
Absolutely.
hey, go link up with Joy and she'll share a
Absolutely.
few things. I think also it's very encouraging for you because I think now that I have kids, I think one of the biggest concerns you have is if you teach them in the way of the Lord, will they stay in the way of the Lord? And, I always say the most encouraging thing about you is that scripture comes alive, that I can see your mom invested faith and that you are still standing in faith, So that's like my takeaway home from your journey in life is just it works. This thing works.
It does work. God is faithful to His word. Teach your children in the way they should go and they will not depart from it when they're older. Just teach them and be there for them in their faith. Also, a quick one. I know it's the parting outro, but in as much as my experience in the UK was a bit tumultuous, I would still tell any young person, go and wherever it is, UK, US.
Yeah, for me, I'm just like, move from your village to the next village.
Yes.
Move from your hood to the next hood. You begin to understand, the gates are positioned differently. It just begins to open your eyes to understand that the world is bigger than your world.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot to learn from that. And I think it creates such a high level of confidence in you. So, so it's not just about the idea that you have resources. It's the idea that you are open to allow God to use you also because you traveled with faith. You're almost like an undercover missionary. It's allowing God to use you. And if you do have the desire to travel beyond your country, beyond your hood, that God does grant those dreams.
For sure.
Yeah. So this is the end of our podcast.